Hello everybody. In session 1 earlier class, that is titled per gas, we have discussed uh, the types of classification or the types of gas, and also we have briefly gone through introduction of gas. In today's session, we will discuss the various terminologies or the basic terms that are used in gas, and also we will one more topic that we'll discuss is law of Gauss. So there is a direction that will go through it. So let's start first topic, that is gate tool terminologies. So the basic terminologies or the basic terms that are used in gas are as follows. We'll go one by one. The first is pitch circle, and if you look at the sketch, this is the pitch circle, and pitch circle is defined as an imaginary circle which by pure rolling action would give the same motion as that of the actual gate. Next, we have pitch circle diameter, and pitch circle diameter, it is defined as the diameter of the pitch circle. Okay, usually the size of the gate is usually specified by the pitch circle diameter, or what we call it as PCD. Suppose if we say the pitch circle of diameter of a gate is 20 mm, that means the actual diameter of the gate is 20 mm, and so on. Coming to the next definition, pitch point. So here it is defined as the common point of contact between two pitch circle. Okay, anyhow we'll be discussing in detail regarding pitch point, and the sketch here they not mention the pitch point. Actually this is the pitch circle of this gate. So if there is one more gate that engages, then that case pitch circle also will coincide here. So the point of contact between two pitch circle is called as pitch point. Next, coming to pitch surface. Pitch surface, it is defined as the surface of the rolling disc which the meshing gears have replaced at the pitch circle. So this is the pitch surface. It's defined as the surface of the rolling disc. So this is a rolling disc which the meshing gear have replaced at the pitch circle. Next, we have pressure angle or angle of obliquity. So pressure angle is, again, it's not been mentioned here. It's not mentioned here in the sketch. So pressure angle is the angle between the common normal to gauge teeth at the point of contact and the common tangent at the pitch point. Anyhow, we'll be discussing in detail regarding the pitch point and also regarding the normal and the tangent in the next few slides. So it is usually denoted by phi, and the standard pressure angles are between 14.5 degree and 20 degree. Next definition is regarding addendum. So this part is called as addendum and can be clearly seen. It is nothing but the radial distance, between from the pitch circle. That is, this is the pitch circle, radial distance from pitch circle to the top of the teeth. So this distance is defined as the addendum. And if we come to the addendum part, it is again the radial distance of a tooth from the pitch circle to the bottom of the tooth. Pitch circle to the bottom, this bottom. So this is a pitch circle, this is the bottom, and this radial distance is called as the addendum. Next, addendum circle. We have the addendum circle here is shown. So addendum circle is defined as the circle that is drawn to the, you can see this is the top of the teeth. So addendum circle is a circle drawn through the top of the teeth and is concentric with the pitch circle. Next, we have dedendum circle, and dedendum circle we have here this part. So this is the dedendum circle, circle. So it is a circle drawn to the bottom of the teeth, and it is also called as root circle. Next, we have the circular pitch, this distance, okay, from this point to this point, and it is defined as the distance measured on the circumference. This is distance measured on the circumference of the pitch circle from a point of one tooth to the corresponding point on the next tooth, and it is usually denoted by the symbol PC. Next definition is module. Module is defined as a ratio of the PCD, that is pitch circle diameter, usually in millimeters to the number of these, and it is usually denoted by small letter m, and most of us know the formula of module, that is d by z. D indicates the pitch circle diameter and z is the number of these. And next we have the clearance, that clearance is here, it can be seen, and it's defined as, again it is defined as a radial distance from the top of the tooth to the bottom of the tooth in a meshing gate, a circle passing through the top of the meshing gate. Next we have the total depth, this distance. So it is again the radial distance between the addendum and the dedendum circle of a gear. This is called as total depth. Next, face of the tooth, this part, face of the tooth, it is defined as the surface of the gate tooth above the pitch surface, above the pitch surface. Next we have the flank of the tooth, it is the surface of the gate tooth below the pitch surface, it's called as the flank of tooth. Next, top flank, this part, it is surface on top of the tooth. And coming to the face width, it is the width of the gate tooth measured parallel to this axis. This is the face width. Okay, maybe you must handle the gear in mechanical measurement and metrology lab, where you would have found the face width and the diameter and also the addendum part. Next, profile, it is the curve formed by the face and this face and the flank of the tooth. Next, fillet radius, it is the radius that connects the root circle. So here we have the root circle and this is the fillet which connects the root circle to the profile of the tooth. Next, path of contact, and path of contact is defined as the path traced by the point of contact of two teeth from the beginning to the end of engagement. So this is how path of contact is defined. So these are the different terminologies or the basic terms that are usually used in gates. A few more we have. Diametral pitch. It is the ratio of number of teeth on gate to the pitch circle diameter. That is how we define diametral pitch. It's just the opposite of module. Then working depth, this part is what we call as working depth. It is the radial distance between the addendum circle, that is radial distance from this is addendum circle to the clearance circle. So this is what we call as the clearance or the working depth circle. Next, tooth thickness. Here usually tooth thickness is measured from this point, from this point to this point, where the pitch circle passes through the tooth, where it cuts the flanks of these two gate tooths. So tooth thickness, it is the thickness or width of the tooth measured along the pitch circle. Next, tooth space. It is the gap or width of space between, this is what we call as tooth space from this point to this point. It is defined as the gap or width of space between the two adjacent teeth measured along the pitch circle. So I think this ends the basic different definitions or the basic terms that are used in gates. So this question has been asked a few times in exam. So please when if asked in exam, please draw the sketch properly and also name the parts. Come to the next slide, next topic. It's called as law of gearing, a very important question again from exam point of view. Quite a few times this question has been asked. So first, before understanding law of gearing, it's very important to understand what we call as pitch point. This pitch point we have discussed a line in the previous slides. So usually pitch point is defined as the common point of contact between two pitch circles of the gear which are in mesh. So if you look at the sketch here, first sketch, so this is one gear, okay, and this is the one more other gear, and when these two gears are in mesh, they come in, they have a common point, okay. Now come back to this sketch that is on the right side. Again, two gates, and these are the pitch circle, and we already defined as a pitch circle. It's an imaginary circle, right? So when these two gates are enmeshed, these two pitch circles will meet at this point. Will meet at a common point, and this common point is called as the pitch point and denoted by the letter P. So this is how we define a pitch point is. Now, coming to law of Gehring. Law of Gehring says that if we are going to draw a normal line at the point of contact, right, that is point of contact or the pitch point P, the line should always pass through the pitch point. So what it says that when the gate teeth are in mesh, and if a normal is drawn at the point of the teeth in mesh of the gaze always passes through the pitch point. So that is what law of Gehring says. So this is what we call as the normal, and whenever this normal is drawn, it should always pass through the pitch point. Okay, now there is a derivation, and in this derivation we are going to prove that when the gaze meet at the pitch point P, and if a line is and it will always pass through the normal. That's what the derivation is about. Okay, so next, now let's I will just go through how to derive the same. Now, as mentioned earlier slide, now we have to prove that the normal that is drawn at the point of contact between a pair of teeth must always pass through the pitch point. So to prove this, we'll take two gear wheels. So this is the gear wheel 1 and this is the gear wheel 2. Now let O1, this is O1, let O1 be the center of first gear wheel. That is, this is the driving member. And O2 be the center of second gear wheel. That is the driven member. That means O1 drives the O2. And Q is the point here, this point Q. And Q is the point of contact of these two gears. So these two gears meet at the point Q. Right? Next, at this point Q, a tangent TT. Okay, a tangent TT is drawn. This dotted hash line is TT, and this is the tangent that is drawn at the point Q. Then normal to this tangent, one more line is drawn. This is the normal line. Okay. First we need to draw the tangent line TT. Later we need to draw a normal line. It's drawn to this tangent. Now let us assume that this is the first gear is rotating in clockwise direction. Now we already discussed gears in external gears always rotate in opposite direction, but whereas internal gears rotate in same direction. Now as this gear is rotating clockwise direction, then the second gear, that is a driven gear, will be rotating in counterclockwise direction. Next, face of the tooth, this part, face of the tooth, it is defined as the surface of the gate tooth above the pitch surface. Next, we have the flank of the tooth. It is the surface of the gate tooth below the pitch surface. It's called as the flank of tooth. Next, top flank, this part, it is surface on top of the tooth. And coming to the face width, it is the width of the gate tooth measured parallel to this axis. This is the face width. Okay, maybe you must handle the gear in mechanical measurement and metrology lab, where you would have found the face width and the diameter and also the addendum part. Next, now in order to obtain constant velocity, the components of v1, that is this component v1 and v2, along with the normal, that is m1, must be same. Suppose if these two gates we should rotate in a constant velocity, the components of velocity v1 and v2 along the common normal, this is m1, must be same. So that velocity we'll assume it as v. So that is this velocity. We are assuming that the component of v1 and v2 will be equal to the velocity v. That is the component v1 along the normal m1 must be equal to v, and also the component v2 along the common normal mn must be equal to v. So hence we can write v1 equals to cos alpha, it should be equal to v2 cos beta. Now we know the angular velocity. Angular velocities are known. That is, we know velocity v is equal to r into w. So r is this radius, that is this rate o1 q and omega. So we can write v1 as v1 as o1 q to omega 1 and v2 as o2 q omega 2. So substituting these values v1 and v2 values in the previous equation, we get this fine equation: omega 1 into q1 o1 q into cos alpha equals omega 2 into o2 q cos beta. In the above equation, we know the values of o1 q, that is this length o1 q, and also we know o2 q, and we know angular velocity also is known. Omega 1 and omega 2 are known. We are assuming it. Now the only unknowns are cos alpha and cos beta. So to get cos alpha and cos beta, we have to use the geometry of this figure. That is, consider this triangle. So cos alpha equals to o1m divided by o1q. Same way, cos beta equals o2m O2m by O2q. Okay, so considering this geometry, we'll solve this. Next, substitute the values of cos alpha and cos beta to the previous equation. So when we substitute it, cos alpha and cos beta values are written here. Okay, and here we can this gets cancelled, common factor, again here these two gets cancelled. Therefore finally we have omega 1 o1m equals to o2n. Then so velocity ratio, that is omega 1 by omega 2 equals o2n is written here and o1m. Okay, next, now we have to find what is this value o2n and o1m. Now to get this value, let us consider the similar triangles o1mp, this triangle, and also we'll also consider triangle o2np. So let us consider these two triangles. Okay, from these similar triangles, if we take the ratio, that is o2n by o1m, we can write o2p, that is this o2p by o1p. Okay, we are assuming that we are taking it from the same, we will be getting this ratio. Now we'll just combine the previous equation and substitute all the values, and this is what we get. Omega 1, final equation, omega 1 by omega 2 equals to o2n by o1m. This value o2n, that is this value o2n equals to o2p, and again o1m equals o1p, that is o1m equals o1p. So from this above equation, we can see that the angular velocity ratio omega 1 by omega 2 is inversely proportional to the ratio of the distance of the point P from the center O1 end. That means this value P is inversely proportional to the distance of the point P from the centers O1 and O2. Therefore, in order to have a constant angular ratio for all positions of the wheel, the point P must be fixed. That is a pitch point for the two wheels. In other words, we can say that the point of contact between a pair of teeth must always pass through the pitch point. So this is one of the fundamental conditions which must be satisfied while designing the profiles of the teeth of gear wheels. So this is what we call as law of gearings. So what finally the law of gearing says that this point P, as the pitch point, must be fixed such that the distance O2P and O1P must be same for all positions, and when that is the case, the normal line when drawn will always pass through the pitch point P. So this is what law of gearing says. Just go through the derivation once again, and if any doubts, please do let me know. Thank you.